Shema, you know it. I'm in the bed. I'm ready to go home and do the work. Oh, wait on it. Say hi.
Do you see the stuff that bus drivers have to deal with? This individual is waiting for the bus, and they're gonna bring that energy onto the bus.
He ain't lying.
Now, I do realize that's probably a skit, but I'm just saying it's not too far off from the truth. We really do get some characters on the bus that behave just like that. And I would know because I'm a bus driver, a public transit bus operator in Sacramento, California. And I'm here to proclaim that bus drivers need to be paid more money.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of
$100 billion.
Seriously though, we really do deal with a lot of challenging situations out here.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
And for some odd reason, a lot of people like to downplay the seriousness of the job and the challenges that we face. I hear people say, oh, your job is so easy. You just sit down all day. It's just a walk in the park. And I don't understand how it could be a walk in the park if we're sitting all day, right? Because sitting and walking, that's two different things, generally.
Hold that bus! Hold that bus! Hold that bus! You heard me? 9 degrees, yo! It's 9 degrees! They gonna open the door for you, my brother! It's hot as hell! You not gonna open the door in my face? You don't see me sweat, my nigga? That's some bullshit, yo! I'm gonna pay full fare on the fucking bus, my nigga! You heard me? This shit beyond me, my nigga! I ain't do nothing to you!
So I'm not understanding why he thought that he was gonna run across the street half naked and just get on the bus. It wasn't a bus stop. We're in the middle of the street. You ran across the street, so you weren't even on the side of the street that the bus would stop anyway, and he's yelling and berating the bus driver. That bus driver needs a raise.
He ain't lying.
But seriously, as bus operators, we have to be really careful in situations like that when someone gets close to the bus because you don't want to make contact with that person. And you saw once that dude stepped back a little bit, the bus driver was then able to pull away safely. So it's always refreshing when someone that's a non-bus driver acknowledges that bus drivers should get paid more money. They acknowledge, okay, that our job can be a little bit challenging. I ran across a comedian that did just that.
I will say driving U-Haul trucks and like moving, it's made me like respect like bus drivers more. Like you ever see like a bus turn a corner and you think to yourself, you're just like, there's no way it's this guy's gonna hit everything and everybody. You're like in your car and a bus is turning at you and you're like, is he gonna fucking hit me right now? And it like never does. That amazes me. That's like incredible. They should be getting paid millions of dollars every year, you know?
They should be getting paid millions of dollars every year.
Thank you, Mr. Comedian Guy. And yes, you know, we are pretty good with the turns. It's so funny, sometimes when you're making these turns, people will give you the deer in headlights look because they really think you're gonna hit them. And I'm like, understand, I don't want to hit you. I don't want to deal with the consequences of me hitting you. I'm gonna make the turn. I've probably made this turn a million times before. I know how to make it. We're good. Some people will even go as far as to move their car out of the way. You know, let's say you're making a right turn and they're in the left turn lane on their street. They'll start moving all over to the right. I'm like, I don't need you to move. I got it. Ironically, when you do actually need somebody to move their car a little bit, those are the times when people refuse to actually move their car. When they honk their horn and stick up their middle finger and all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Like people clap for pilots, you know, and that's just like a straight line in the air, probably. I don't know. That's just a straight shot, you know? And like the pilot doesn't even have like a bunch of teenagers calling him like a Shrek 2 looking ass bitch or anything like that. Which is something I heard on the bus one time. A bunch of teenagers called the bus driver a Shrek 2 looking ass bitch. And I said, wow, that is funny.
As bus drivers, you will get roasted by the students because they think it's funny, and we're still expected to safely transport them while they make jokes about us.
He ain't lying.
Now here's the funny thing, and I want to serve notice on the world. Bus drivers know how to roast you as well. Don't think that we didn't grow up in a culture of roasting or joking or teasing people. As a matter of fact, especially us bus drivers that are like millennials, we were cutthroat when we were younger with the jokes, like stuff that you shouldn't even joke joke about, it would be a joke. It would be open season for that. Nowadays, 2024, people would get highly offended by some of the jokes that we used to tell. So the best course of action for a bus operator, even if we could thoroughly roast you to pieces, is to remain professional and not do it back. But yeah, it's part of the job. They'll make fun of the bus driver, everybody getting on the bus, and they'll do it out loud and just think it's funny. And if somebody says something to them, they'll get upset. Shout out to all of the good, like, teenagers that ride the bus. There's a lot of them that are excellent, great attitudes, they know how to act. And speaking of bus drivers making tight turns, let me show you an example of that right now. All right, so you can see the bus there. It looks like they don't have enough space, but actually they do. I'm not sure why or how all of those buses got stuck in that one area. But yeah, see how they're moving the bus a little bit straight before turning it to the right? That was perfect. That allowed them to clear the curb somewhat. Yes, you got to get those tires around the curb, or if you're going to run over the curb a little bit, if you absolutely have to, make sure you're not hitting any objects like any poles or signs or people.
He ain't lying.
Now we have an articulated bus. Will the articulated bus be able to make the turn? Got a person on a bike. They have to get out of the way. We're waiting for that van to move out of the way, and here we go. Making that turn in the Arctic. They are gonna do it. And once again, they are also kind of moving the bus a little bit straight before cranking it to the right to get it around there, and they just made it. They did have to go over the curb just a little bit, but they did not hit anything, so that's awesome. So give these bus drivers a raise right now.
No! God, please, no! No!
And see, here goes another reason why bus drivers need to be paid $1 million, because even though this isn't specifically on a bus, it looks like it's on a train, but it's still public transportation all the same. We got to deal with this foolishness. We are transporting people that do things like this. I mean, listen, you're free to eat your sucker or lollipop however you please, okay? But this is just a bit much. I don't know if he's practicing or if he wishes he could do this in other places. I'm not sure. I don't know what the deal is. I actually don't want to know, but this was captured in public. But at the same time, why was somebody just filming this guy? Like, to be fair, he is minding his own business, even though he's doing something that will draw a lot of attention to him. But you know, it's a public place, I get it, but you are directly filming someone. It's one thing if like you're filming something and people are in the background because it's a public place. It's like, hey, you may get filmed, but for you to just zoom in on this one person, that's a little bit rude. What do you think? You think that's rude? I mean, it's rude. What he's doing is rude and distasteful. How dare he do that in public? Save that for at home. What he's doing, he has to know that someone may film him or someone may find what he's doing intriguing, interesting, disgusting, or maybe somebody is impressed and they may hit him up, you know, he may get some numbers. So here's a really good reason why bus drivers should be paid $1 million to $1 billion per hour. We would bankrupt the entire everything trying to pay bus drivers that much. That would be crazy. Here's a situation where a bus operator definitely earned their paycheck and should get a little bit or a lot of bit of a bonus. This is from King County Metro Transit. Somebody left a really cool comment on their social media, and here's what the person had to say. This is a random thing, but I'll never forget what a KC Metro bus driver has done for me. One night when I was taking the bus home after an evening college class, I started to feel a little nervous. My stop was next to a huge park and the lighting was sparse at best. I think the driver must have sensed it or something, because he asked me to let him know whichever point on the route would be closest to my destination so he would drop me off there. I let him know, and when I got off the bus on the front, he got up as well and took off his flashlight, which is part of the bus driver gear, and handed it to me. He told me to use it for my way and said, for a young woman to walk alone at night, this is the least I can do. I kept that flashlight for my entire stay in Seattle and think about that driver every single day. I hope he's living well. Shout out to that driver. I would love for someone to look out for my daughter or a niece or my mom, grandmother, you know, or even the guys. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to just be a woman, like your son, your nephew, your uncle, your grandfather, your father. It's cool that somebody cared enough, had enough compassion to be like, hey, I'm gonna go the extra mile and make sure you're okay. I can't do much, but what I can do, what I can safely do and do within the policy that my job has set for me, I'm going to do that. And shout out to this driver. I don't know who the driver is. Everything is pretty much anonymous, and that's fine. It's probably the safest way to keep things. But man, that is really good. That is a really kind gesture. And yeah, salute to that bus driver. So let me know what you think. Do you think us bus drivers should get paid millions of dollars? You probably don't think so, I get it, but trust and believe that our jobs, for those naysayers out there that say all you do is sit down all day, it's much more than just sitting down all day.